Top 3 fruits for diabetics to eat lowers blood sugar. The seemingly simple act of choosing a fruit to eat can, in reality, be a surprisingly complex decision, particularly for those concerned with managing their blood sugar levels. While many perceive all fruits as inherently healthy and beneficial, the truth is far more nuanced. The sugar content, the fiber present, and the way in which the fruit is prepared all play a significant role in its impact on our bodies. It's not an overstatement to say that some fruits, when consumed without proper consideration, can actively work against our health goals, while others can be powerful allies. This exploration delves into the subtle yet critical differences between various fruits, revealing which ones can support blood sugar control and which are best enjoyed with caution, or perhaps avoided altogether. We begin by acknowledging a widely available and inexpensive fruit, the blueberry, which costs a mere 49 cents per serving. Clinical trials have even demonstrated its ability to improve insulin sensitivity within a remarkably short period of 6 weeks. However, before you dismiss this as common knowledge, understand that most individuals are unaware of the optimal way to consume blueberries, often negating up to 70% of their beneficial properties by eating them incorrectly or at the wrong times. This leads us to a more concerning revelation. Within the 7 common fruits often found in our kitchens, 3 are actively aiding blood sugar regulation, while the remaining 4 are unfortunately detrimental. The crucial information about which fruit falls into which category is conspicuously absent from doctors' advice and product labels, leaving consumers in the dark. This expose aims to demystify this vital aspect of our diet by ranking these 7 fruits from worst to best, providing actionable insights to empower informed food choices. The fruit ranked at number 7 is frequently consumed by seniors throughout the summer, under the mistaken impression of its complete harmlessness. In stark contrast, the fruit occupying the number 1 position is directly linked to a remarkable transformation for a woman named Doris, whose A1C levels plummeted from 8.4 to 6.1 in just 90 days. Her endocrinologist, astonished by this dramatic improvement, inquired about her dietary changes, to which she attributed it to one fruit. He promptly documented this discovery. "My name is Dr. Mandell, and my objective today is to meticulously detail Doris's experience, elucidate the scientific mechanisms behind her success, and identify the fruits that you should immediately cease consuming." Before we embark on this ranking, 2 preliminary points are of paramount importance and deserve your undivided attention. If you are over the age of 60 and actively monitoring your blood sugar, I urge you to subscribe to this channel. Our purpose here is to provide the comprehensive explanations that are often squeezed out of brief 12-minute medical appointments. Following that, I invite you to leave a single word in the comments section, the fruit you consume most frequently throughout the week. Your input is invaluable, as I personally review every comment, and it guides the topics we cover in future discussions. Having established these initial steps, let us now delve into the heart of the matter, beginning with an explanation of why fruit consumption can be so confusing for individuals managing their blood sugar. The complexity arises from the fact that fruit is not a monolithic entity. It is not akin to salt, where a simple rule of thumb, less is better, more is worse, applies universally. Instead, consider fruit as a meticulously curated medicine cabinet. Within this cabinet, some bottles offer healing properties, others can exacerbate illness, and a few may appear nearly identical externally, yet contain entirely different compositions. Understanding what happens within your body after consuming fruit is fundamental. The primary sugar found in fruit is fructose. Unlike glucose, which directly enters the bloodstream, fructose takes a less direct route, first traveling to the liver for processing. In moderate quantities, especially when accompanied by the fruit's natural fiber, the liver efficiently manages this fructose, resulting in relatively stable blood sugar levels without dramatic spikes or subsequent crashes. However, a critical detail often overlooked is what transpires when fruit is consumed without its accompanying fiber. This occurs when fruit is juiced, blended into smoothies, or when a fruit naturally low in fiber and high in sugar is chosen. In these scenarios, an overwhelming surge of fructose floods the liver. This deluge incapacitates the liver's processing capacity, compelling it to convert the excess fructose directly into fat. More alarmingly, this leads to a condition known as hepatic insulin resistance, where the liver gradually loses its responsiveness to insulin. Once this resistance sets in, fasting blood sugar levels begin to elevate, even during periods of sleep or prolonged fasting of 12 hours or more. This is the precise reason why certain fruits contribute to blood sugar control, while others have the opposite effect. Consequently, we will now proceed to rank all 7 fruits. As we progress, I encourage you to mentally note which of these fruits are currently present in your kitchen, as by the conclusion of this discussion, you may feel compelled to make significant adjustments to your fruit selection and consumption habits. Commencing our ranking at number 7 is watermelon. This is the fruit I specifically cautioned you about in the initial moments of this presentation. It is the fruit that many seniors gravitate towards during the summer months, mistakenly believing it to be the safest choice due to its high water content, which constitutes approximately 92% of its composition. However, this very characteristic is the deceptive trap. Watermelon possesses a glycemic index of roughly 76, a value that is, in fact, higher than that of a spoonful of common table sugar. Moreover, it contains a negligible amount of fiber to mitigate the rapid absorption of its sugars. Therefore, a generous, cooling slice of watermelon on a sweltering July afternoon delivers its sugar into your bloodstream with a rapidity comparable to consuming a can of soda. The water content creates a false sense of normalcy, masking the physiological response. Your pancreas, however, is acutely aware of the sugar influx. Watermelon should be relegated to an occasional treat, perhaps a few small cubes enjoyed alongside a handful of nuts. Consuming it in large quantities, such as a whole bowl, while relaxing on the porch, is an invitation for a significant blood sugar spike, inevitably followed by an energy crash approximately an hour later. Moving to number 6, we have pineapple. Pineapple has cultivated a reputation as a health-conscious fruit, largely attributed to its bromelain content. Bromelain is an enzyme widely promoted for its digestive benefits, as well as its ability to reduce inflammation and swelling. The critical issue, however, is that bromelain offers no discernible advantage for blood sugar management. Concurrently, pineapple exhibits a glycemic index of around 66, coupled with a substantial quantity of rapidly absorbable sugars and a deficient fiber content to temper its effects. Canned pineapple, particularly when packed in syrup, is an even less favorable option, and pineapple juice escalates this concern further. The reason for this is straightforward. By completely eliminating the fiber, you are once again subjecting your liver to an overwhelming influx of fructose, precisely as previously described. Fresh pineapple, consumed in small portions after a balanced meal that includes protein and healthy fats, is generally manageable for the body. However, eating pineapple in isolation on an empty stomach effectively transforms it into a tropical-flavored rapid sugar delivery system. At number 5 is the mango. Mangoes are often referred to as the king of fruits, a designation often perceived as an automatic endorsement of their healthfulness. A single medium-sized mango can contain as much as 45 grams of sugar, which is more sugar than found in many candy bars. Its glycemic index hovers around 60. While mangoes do provide valuable vitamin C and carotenoids, the natural orange pigments that confer genuine health benefits, the sheer volume of sugar they contain often overshadows these advantages for individuals striving to control their blood glucose. Therefore, it is advisable to consider mangoes as a dessert. A few thin slices can be perfectly acceptable, but incorporating half a mango into your morning breakfast bowl is likely to result in a blood sugar reading that will visibly climb on your glucose meter. Securing the number 4 position is the banana. This fruit is a ubiquitous presence in kitchens across America, and its characteristics perfectly encapsulate the core message of this presentation. A banana is not a static food. Its composition undergoes significant alteration as it ripens. A firm banana with green tips contains a substantial amount of resistant starch. Resistant starch is a type of carbohydrate that resists rapid digestion by the body, thereby moving more slowly through the digestive system and exerting only a minimal influence on blood sugar levels. However, as the banana matures on the kitchen counter and its peel develops brown spots, this resistant starch progressively transforms into simple sugar. A heavily spotted, overripe banana can register a glycemic index of approximately 62. This demonstrates how the very same banana can elicit a completely different physiological response just 3 days later. This is where a prevalent mistake occurs, mirroring the error made with blueberries, which we will revisit shortly. Individuals tend to choose the softest, sweetest, most browned banana, consume it on an empty stomach first thing in the morning, and subsequently wonder why they experience shakiness, hunger, and a craving for food by mid-morning. A half of a green-tipped banana, eaten with a spoonful of peanut butter or a hard-boiled egg, represents a perfectly reasonable choice. Conversely, a brown, overripe banana consumed alone at 7 a.m. is almost guaranteed to induce a blood sugar spike followed by an energy deficit. Thus, we have identified the first 4 fruits: watermelon, pineapple, mango, and the overripe banana. These 4 fruits may be quietly residing in your kitchen, inadvertently undermining the very health objectives you are striving to achieve. Now, let us transition to the 3 fruits that genuinely contribute to your well-being. Claiming the number 3 spot is the apple. The adage, "an apple a day keeps the doctor away," holds a surprising amount of truth, provided one important condition is met: the skin must be left intact. The apple's most significant asset lies in its pectin content. Pectin is a soluble fiber found predominantly just beneath the peel. Within the digestive tract, it forms a gel-like substance that substantially retards sugar absorption. Furthermore, the peel harbors the majority of the apple's polyphenols, plant compounds recognized for their association with a healthier and more stable insulin response. Peeling an apple effectively means discarding the medicinal components while retaining only the sugar. Transforming an apple into applesauce or apple juice renders it even less beneficial than consuming a peeled apple. A whole apple, eaten with its skin, has a glycemic index of approximately 36, positioning it as one of the most benign fruits on this list for blood sugar management. The instruction is remarkably simple. Consume the entire apple, leaving the skin on. That is all that is required. At number 2, we find grapefruit. Grapefruit boasts the lowest glycemic index of all the fruits discussed today, registering approximately 25. It also contains a natural compound known as naringin. Naringin is the bitter flavonoid responsible for grapefruit's characteristically tart flavor. Scientific research has linked this compound to improvements in insulin sensitivity. On paper, grapefruit presents itself as an almost ideal fruit for supporting healthy blood sugar levels. However, at this juncture, a critical distinction must be made. This is the sole fruit on today's list that can pose a genuine danger to certain individuals, and this risk has absolutely no relation to its sugar content. Grapefruit interferes with an enzyme in your intestines called CYP3A4. Your body relies on this enzyme to metabolize numerous commonly prescribed medications, including a variety of cholesterol-lowering statins and several blood pressure medications. When grapefruit inhibits this enzyme, these medications can accumulate in your bloodstream to potentially dangerous levels that were not intended. This is not a trivial concern. Therefore, if you are taking a statin or a medication for high blood pressure, it is imperative that you do not incorporate grapefruit into your daily regimen without first consulting your pharmacist to ascertain whether your specific medication interacts with grapefruit. A single phone call is all that is necessary. If you are not taking any of these particular medications, grapefruit can indeed become a silent yet powerful ally in blood sugar control. Half a grapefruit in the morning, consumed in whole segments to preserve all its natural fiber, has a minimal impact on your blood sugar. And now we have arrived at number 1, the blueberry. This is the 49-cent berry I alluded to at the beginning of our discussion. Let me explain precisely why it has earned this top distinction and why most people inadvertently forfeit almost all of its benefits. The key active compound in blueberries is anthocyanin. Anthocyanins are the deep blue-purple pigments that are concentrated within the skin of the berry. These compounds play a vital role in enhancing your body's cellular response to insulin. A published clinical trial confirmed measurable improvements in insulin sensitivity after approximately 6 weeks of consuming blueberry compounds alone. Now let me reveal the mistake I promised to address at the outset. The majority of individuals inadvertently destroy these beneficial compounds before they even reach their bloodstream. They blend blueberries into smoothies, a process that disrupts the fiber and floods the liver with fructose, the very mechanism we discussed earlier. They bake them into muffins laden with refined flour and sugar, or sprinkle them atop bowls of sweetened breakfast cereal. Consequently, any benefit the blueberries might offer is obscured by the blood sugar spike triggered by their accompaniments. When you adopt these consumption methods, you effectively nullify most of the fruit's advantages, akin to holding the medicine bottle while pouring its contents down the drain. The correct method of consumption is remarkably straightforward. Consume half a cup of whole blueberries, whether fresh or frozen, as freezing does not diminish their anthocyanin content, in conjunction with a source of protein and healthy fat to slow down digestion. It is crucial that they are consumed whole, not blended, not baked, and not obscured by sweetened cereal. Allow me to now recount the story of Doris. She was 64 years old when her A1C initially registered at 8.4. For those unfamiliar, A1C represents your average blood sugar level over approximately 3 months. An A1C of 8.4 typically signals a point where physicians begin serious discussions regarding the initiation of insulin therapy. 90 days later, her A1C had impressively dropped to 6.1. Her endocrinologist was genuinely perplexed and inquired about what dietary changes she had implemented, as such a significant reduction usually indicates the introduction of new medication. Her response was concise: 1 fruit. What Doris had actually done was incorporate half a cup of whole blueberries into plain Greek yogurt each morning. The protein and healthy fats present in the yogurt effectively slowed the digestion and absorption of the fruit. She avoided smoothies and sweetened cereals. Furthermore, she made an additional crucial change. She discontinued the glass of orange juice she had consumed with breakfast every morning for the past 40 years. This glass of juice had been actively counteracting the benefits of her blueberries each day, even before she left her home. A serving of this inexpensive berry, costing a mere 49 cents, when consumed whole and paired with protein, effectively replaced a glass of fruit juice that had been silently elevating her fasting blood sugar overnight. In just 3 months, her A1C transformed from 8.4 to 6.1. Her endocrinologist made a note of this remarkable outcome. Therefore, here is precisely what you should implement starting tonight, before this information becomes merely another video you have watched and subsequently forgotten. Step 1. Go to your kitchen and identify the 4 fruits we have discussed: watermelon, pineapple, mango, and any banana that has become soft, overripe, and covered in brown spots. You do not need to discard these fruits. Rather, you must reframe your perception of them, shifting from everyday snacks to occasional desserts. Consume them in small portions after a balanced meal and never on an empty stomach. Step 2. Tomorrow morning, consume half a cup of whole blueberries, either fresh or frozen, with plain Greek yogurt or a small handful of nuts. Avoid incorporating them into smoothies or sprinkling them over cereal. Consume them whole. Step 3. If you have fruit juice in your refrigerator, be it orange juice, apple juice, or any other variety, finish the glass you currently have. Consider that your last one. Fruit juice is one of the most rapid pathways to negating every positive dietary habit we have discussed in this video. Step 4. Keep whole apples with their skins intact in a visible bowl where you will be reminded to consume them. Eat them whole, as the skin contains a significant portion of their beneficial compounds. Step 5. This step is non-negotiable. If you are prescribed a statin or medication for high blood pressure, contact your pharmacist before introducing grapefruit into your diet. A single phone call is all that is required. Do not make assumptions. And under no circumstances should you discontinue any prescribed medication based on information viewed online, including anything presented here. The The selection of the appropriate fruit is the simpler aspect. Drug interactions are the element that can lead to hospitalization. Here is the enduring lesson I hope you will carry with you. Doris implemented two pivotal changes that morning. She began consuming blueberries, and she eliminated the glass of orange juice she had habitually consumed with breakfast for 4 decades. This second change was every bit as impactful as the first. The fruit you choose to add to your breakfast often holds less significance than the beverage you consume each morning, the one that elevates your blood sugar before you have even had a chance to sit down and eat. This very topic, the 3 morning beverages that most adults over 60 consume daily, which subtly raise fasting blood sugar, and the 2 beverages that can genuinely aid in lowering it, one of which may already be in your hand, will be the subject of our next discussion. If you aspire to see your numbers improve in the same remarkable way Doris did, this is the direction we will be heading. I am Dr. Mandell, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.